Now on the air from the state of Florida, where our 45th president temporarily resides until his triumphant return to that big house on Pennsylvania Avenue in 2024. Once again, it's time for the Flagler Trump Club's Future of Flagler podcast. Here are the three patriots who will keep Flagler County red while making America great again. Your host, Trump Club President Mike McElroy, along with Trump Club Vice President and Palm Coast City Councilman Ed Danko, and Trump Club Board Director, better known as the Shadow Mayor of Palm Coast, Allen Lowe.
Hey everyone, it's Ed Danko. I want to welcome you back to the Flagler Trump Club's Future of Flagler podcast. We have a very special guest today. A person who will be announcing his candidacy for a political office. But before we get to that, before we get to our guest, we want to talk about what's going on in the world, what's going on
there's some
in the
fun
news.
Stuff going on.
Well, tell us about it, Alan.
Well, we could go just back to this past Tuesday, for instance, at the budget meeting prior to the city council meeting.
Well, that was an interesting meeting, to say the least. I
Yes.
think you all know, I think I've made this clear, I'd rather drink antifreeze than vote to raise your taxes. That's what I campaigned on, and that's what I'm doing. That's I'm keeping my promise.
Campaign promise.
But there are others.
You mean you're going to keep your word?
I'm going to keep my word. I know that's unusual from a politician, but I am a politician that does keep my word. And however, we have folks on the city council that want to increase your taxes.
Even though they campaigned against that.
Yes, they did campaign against it, and I've been holding our mayor's feet to the fire because he clearly campaigned against any tax increases. And I have been reminding him, and I'll remind him again at the next council meeting, and I know he's asking for a bit of a rollback on the rate.
I remember in an interview that he did that he said it depends on what your definition of tax increase is.
Yeah. I think Bill Clinton said that's what your definition of sex is, right?
Well, you have to get to the meat of what is.
Yeah, what is, right?
Well, that's the game he's playing as well.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that he remembers his pledge. I reminded him on Tuesday that it would be a shame if he broke his very first promise right out of the gate to the voters who elected him. I know if you had been elected mayor, we would not be in this situation.
That discussion wouldn't even be on the table.
Wouldn't be on the table. But it's apparent to me that none of these folks at City Hall want to make any cuts whatsoever.
No, they put City Hall as the kingdom.
Yep.
And the palace, and everybody else is the serfs.
And in the meantime,
feed the beast.
Meantime, we have, as you know, the moratorium on not paying your rent has come to an end.
Yes.
So folks will be evicted.
It was in the news today that they expect a mass eviction, and that's what's going to happen. And the other big thing is, I was fortunate. I owned some commercial property, and I didn't have any renters that fell behind. But a lot of people, my neighbor across the street, he hasn't been paid since March, but he still has to pay his mortgage. He's fortunate that he can, but there's a lot of people that can't. We're going to have foreclosures. We got all these evictions coming. We have an unstable economy at this moment.
Very unstable.
And you can't raise taxes against people who just don't have the money.
And they talk about with a homestead, your tax increase won't be that much. Well, that's true. But all those folks that own rental property or commercial business property are getting your taxes. No protection. You saw the projection. What did your taxes go up on your warehouse?
I believe my taxes, at the projected right now, because it's not set by the county yet either, but we're looking at over $1,000 over last year.
Yeah, so that's $1,000 increase.
$1,000 increase, yeah.
And so it's not just individual homes.
And I can tell you that I'm going to pass that down to my tenants, and everybody that's a landlord is going to pass it down. So many people are complaining, the rent in Palm Coast is so high, it's so high. Well, it's going to get higher.
Yes, it is.
It's going to get higher.
And that's money out of people's pockets. And I tried to make this point at council the other night. This is money that you would spend at one of our local businesses. We would collect sales tax on it. And I reminded all these so-called Republicans on the council that, Donald Trump cut taxes and our economy took off. What these folks are proposing is what Joe Biden would propose. Yeah. And we have a bunch of rhinos on this council. Let's not kid ourselves. And Eddie Burkino, I know you're out there listening. You troll my Facebook page. I'm sure you're trolling our podcast. I guess I need to apologize to you first, Eddie. I mentioned the other night at council that you were a lifelong Democrat in New Jersey. Well, apparently I'm wrong. You were a Democrat here in Flagler County until you switched parties 2 months before the primary in 2018, Eddie. So I apologize. I should have said you were a lifelong Democrat there. You're a lifelong Democrat here. I've had several people contact me, and they actually they were at a meeting with you in 2018, and here's the quote they gave me. They claim you said, "I was born a Democrat. I will die a Democrat." Well, I don't know what you're going to die of, but you go in front of the voters if you decide to run for re-election, and you talk about raising their taxes, and then you talk about how you switched parties, just like your buddy Melissa Hollins did. I don't think that's going to get you very far. But regardless, I did say I think you should go back to New Jersey. I want to up the ante on that. You go back to New Jersey, I'll pay for the one-way plane ticket to get you there. And
First class?
I'll upgrade it to first class if you want to go.
Well, there's a deal you can't pass up.
Yeah, absolutely. So you let me know, Eddie. That plane's waiting. You can pick the airline. Anyway, Mike, you got anything?
Well, while we're on the topic of city council, I noticed you got accused of violating the Sunshine Law, I think by
my buddy,
Councilman Branchino.
Yeah.
What say you to that?
Well, he was trolling my Facebook page. And he saw a video where I went live at Allen's last sign-waving rally before Election Day, and Victor Barboza was there, Councilman Barboza. And I simply said, "Hello, Victor, why are you here?" And Victor said, "I'm here to support Allen." And Victor said, "If we don't support Allen, we're going to get a big fat tax increase."
Yep, that's what he said.
And Victor said, which he had already said at a prior council meeting, that he was opposed to any tax increases. So apparently, according to Burkino, that's a sunshine violation. There's no sunshine violation
interestingly,
there.
he said that the city clerk, Virginia Smith, had all the evidence.
Yeah.
So I sent a Freedom of Information request to Virginia that night asking for all the evidence. And the only thing I got back was a copy of your Facebook Live video of that event where you spoke with Victor and other people. You spoke with a whole bunch of people.
We had a lot of people at that event.
Yeah, that was 40 people there.
To be clear, my understanding, having, of what I've read of the Florida Sunshine Law, that involves 2 or more city council members who have a discussion about something that's going to come before the council in the future and make sort of decisions about that prior to actually having to vote on it. So that wouldn't seem to fit.
No, I basically held up my cell phone. I was live on Facebook, and Victor spoke to all the people that were watching the Facebook feed. And I was simply holding the camera, allowing Victor to speak. But again, this is the kind of garbage I expect.
Well,
from
it's
these
reminiscent.
people.
I mean,
Yes.
I remember a certain Fernando Melendez going after you and Victor for a phony ethics complaint that he put forward during the election, to try to smear.
He was Alfin's campaign manager, but Alfin denied
Until he
wasn't his campaign manager. Yeah. So, but yet he still has posted on his Facebook page that he is his campaign manager. I'm not quite sure what's going on there.
It's a lot of mystery.
It is. But anyway.
But that, to be clear, the complaint Melendez filed, substantively, even though it might have been not the right forum, I don't know, was the same thing as Eddie's alleging. Melendez alleged that you and Victor were communicating in violation.
Yeah.
And the ethics committee did what with that?
They tossed it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was nothing there.
Same with this. It's just garbage complaints by people that got nothing better to do.
Eddie Burkino should spend more time working on finding ways to cut items in the budget and reduce the bill for our taxpayers than trolling my Facebook page. I'm sure he trolls yours, too.
He does. Yeah. He's commented on my page. In fact, the other day I said, hi, Eddie, just in case he was watching. But something else that he might want to concentrate on, I remember one of the speakers that came up to the podium was complaining that he had a special meeting with them back in May and promised them communication.
Folks in the east section.
In the east section,
yeah,
yes.
over those canals.
The canals and the trees that came down, and nothing's happening out
nothing.
there. And apparently, I believe the lady said that there was 2 communications subsequent to that discussion, and then nothing anymore.
Yep.
So, it really, other than you and Victor, I really don't see the city council getting out and working with their constituents.
Folks, elections have consequences.
Yes.
The last election, what, did 10% of the voters show up?
18,000.
18,000, that was it. If you don't show up, if you don't vote, well, if you don't contribute to campaigns, you're going to get candidates that you don't want. And that's what we've seen happen. But today we have a candidate who's just announced, who's joining us. Steve Swarner. Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Steve Swarner.
Swarner.
Like Warner Brothers with an S.
You're going to campaign as Steve, right? So we don't have to mess with that last
Yeah.
name. You are running. You just filed your paperwork yesterday, I understand. Is that correct?
That's right.
And what are you running for?
Running for city council.
What district?
District 4, I believe.
And who would that be against?
Who would that be against?
Let's think.
Oh, he hasn't announced yet, but I think that you would be running against a lifelong Democrat, originally from New Jersey, who switched parties just to get elected here in Palm Coast.
Yeah, if I understand correctly, he's a pretty good friend of yours.
Yeah, he's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
Now, you work for a mortgage company.
I do.
And the mortgage company is PRMI?
Yes, sir. Primary residential mortgage.
Okay, and you're a mortgage lender.
I am, yes, sir.
Okay, so you're helping to build the American dream.
Absolutely.
You're also a United States Navy veteran.
That's right.
And you have served in Iraq.
Afghanistan.
Or Afghanistan. Well, thank you for your service. One
Thank you.
Navy
Yes.
vet to another.
Appreciate you
I
guys.
salute you. So
Yeah.
tell us a
yeah.
little bit about your service in Iraq. Or
Afghanistan.
I'm trying to forget Afghanistan.
Yeah,
You
we
know?
should try. Well, Biden's put it front and center.
You
Yeah.
can't do a better job than the president.
Yeah. I think he forgot about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about what Biden did?
I'm not a big fan of it. President Trump, he also had the same plan to pull out, but his plan involves some steps that would have taken care of this a little bit more organized. It would have got more people out, and we would have got some of our material out. By material, I mean helicopters, guns, medical equipment, millions of cash-wrapped $100 bills that we would use to hand out to local families there that were helping us, interpreters, things like that. So the steps involved getting people out safely before this happened. Just pulling out with no recourse has done nothing but, put fear, in most veterans. Most veterans that I've spoken with about this are like, man, either they're coming here or we're going back over there. Probably contracted, but we're going back. And the reason for that is, a lot of people don't understand, how tough this can be on our economy. We had a president that came on, the stand the next day and said, "Oh, well, I promise you, it will be swift and painful if you mess with us." That is not the course. I mean that's not true. They bombed us. We lost 13 people. We lost 12 U.S. Marines and then 1 U.S. Navy corpsman.
Right shortly before, this whole departure ended.
So
It's a shame.
With a bombing, that killed 13 of our service members, I think that at that point somebody should be swift.
Well, we saw
said.
Biden looking at his watch when those bodies
he was
came
busy.
back to what was it, Andrews Air Force Base? Is that where
Yeah.
they came back to? So he was checking his watch the whole time. Imagine if Donald Trump had done that. You never would have heard the end of it.
Eviscerated.
Yeah, unbelievable.
We can do back and forth banter all day on those two, man, and they're two completely different people. Somebody who is a true blue American that's not a politician, there to take care of. How could you hate the guy? He's a businessman. I mean, he's everything that you want. He's got the good-looking wife. He's got all the money. He's got all the power. Well, that's what you want. That's what everybody wants. That's what every individual wants, exactly what he has. So the only thing I can think of is jealousy.
Yeah,
And some mean tweets. Goodness gracious, some
mean tweets.
I'd take the mean tweets back right about now. I'd be happy with that.
I'd take that $1.80 gas.
Yeah,
back
that too.
So we're going to take a pause here to hear from our supporters, the folks that make this video podcast possible. When we get back, we will talk about your campaign, your positions on the local issues. We're going to learn a little bit more about what you do to volunteer in our community. So we'll be right back after a word from these sponsors.
Are you twisted enough for Twisted Minds escape rooms? Then check us out at twistedminds.com and book an adventure today. You can choose between Camp Calico or the mysteries of Vanished. How about travel back in time to 1840s California and visit Digger's General Store? Or get ready, coming late spring, early summer 2021, a little bit of mayhem at Twisted Minds escape rooms in Palm Coast. Check us out at twistedminds.com or give us a call at 888-92-TWIST. We'll be waiting.
Tired of sitting at home restless? Need to exercise? Playing golf is one of the best ways to stay fit, and golf courses are one of the safest places to be. The gorgeous 18-hole Gary Player-designed Cypress Knoll Golf Course is open to the public. Enjoy your game in the heart of Palm Coast, surrounded by 9 glimmering lakes and plenty of wildlife. Your safe and healthy choice is Cypress Knoll Golf, voted the most beautiful course in Flagler County. Call to book your tee time, 437-5807. That's 437-5807.
All right, everyone, this is Ed Danko. I'm back here with Alan and with Mike and our guest, Stephen, who is running for City Council in Palm Coast, District 4. Stephen, tell us why you're running.
Yeah.
I want to see good things in our community. You know, I obviously want to be a little more progressive and make sure that everybody in our community has involvement. You know, so if I have to go door to door to help out, get to talking with people, that's something I want to do. But I definitely want to make sure that millage rate stays where it's at, or maybe even goes backwards. I would not want anybody paying more taxes at all. Taxation is theft, so we don't want that. You know, a little love for our local seniors that are around here. You know, they paved the way for us to be where we're at today, so we need to make sure we take care of those people. Outside of that, you know, I just want everybody to be involved in our community. And the only way to do that is if we can learn to get along. And I understand that's a hard thing to do these days, but my points are pretty clear. I'm pretty conservative on my views, but I have I have nothing but passion for this community. I spend a lot of time with Remembering Vets, local nonprofit organization.
They have an event coming up?
We do, September 25th. It's going to be our fall festival. It's our first inaugural year. Hopefully we can get 35,000 people to show up.
Where's that going to be located?
That's a nice number.
I'm kidding.
Where's that going to be and what time?
It's going to be located in Town Center right in front of City Hall. We're going to be opening the gates at 10 o'clock, and we'll be going until 6. We'll have 10 food trucks. We're going to have a car show there, a couple radio stations, local radio stations.
Is there an entrance fee?
There is a $5 donation to get in, but I mean $5 for a full day of family fun. We're gonna have a kids zone, a bunch of blow ups out there. Should be pretty fun.
Excellent.
And what day is this again?
Saturday, September 25th from
Coming
10
right
to
up.
6. Yep.
That's more than a bargain.
Yeah.
But you have one more reason, and I think we should take the time out to congratulate you. You have one more reason why you need to be involved locally, because I believe you have a new, was it a 1 month?
Yes.
1 month old?
1 week old.
1 week old.
1 week old.
I have we just had our 4th boy, you know, and I want to pave out a good road for my kids, and I want them to, you know, look back, be proud of their dad and what they've done to help out the community, but also make it a good community for my kids to be raised in.
Excellent.
So you definitely don't want, you know, an uproar in crime. So, you know, why not, you know, give a little money to that sheriff? You know,
Yeah,
put
we
some
have
more
to.
people on his staff. You know, right
Oh,
now
I fully agree.
a growing area like
Yeah.
Palm Coast, we need a little more help.
I fully support our sheriff's request for 10 additional deputies. And we don't need to raise taxes to do it. We need to make cuts
Absolutely.
of all this wasteful spending, starting with that ridiculous pickleball,
Oh, my God.
tennis ball fiasco that Holland left us. And we can save a lot of money just out of our general budget.
$1 million bucks.
Yeah.
I think it's down to $250,000 with some expenses, but
it's $250,000 we can save right there.
Save.
I understand pickleball is a growing sport, but it's a phase, just like most things. You know, people get into cars for a little bit, and then they get out of cars for a little bit.
But, you know, we can build them 4 pickleball courts for under $100,000. And this project is $5.75 million for phase 1.
And that was before all of the increase in construction costs. Yeah. So you're probably looking about $8 or $9 million.
It'd be really nice to see some of that money in education.
How much was Holland Park?
$10 million, wasn't it?
Which is now, I see it in one of the local media outlets today, that Holland Park is going to be closed on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Mondays and Tuesdays, yeah.
So that's another expenditure of taxpayer money that.
How much did those splash pads end up costing us?
I think it was, what was it, $2 million to start with, and then all the
went
repairs.
To 5.
And now it might be covered under warranty, but the flooring for the pad is coming up. I mean, it's a disaster. It might be a great thing. It might be wonderful, but this pickleball stadium thing. What was it? 2 years ago, the Parks and Recreation said that the full project would be $20 million. So with cost of increase, we're looking at $30 million to build this thing out.
Probably almost enough money to dredge the canals.
Yeah, dredge the canal system,
which need to be dredged.
Yeah, and and that's another thing. Not to diss on Branchino, but but he said at a city council meeting, he keeps equating dredging of the canals with the number of people that own boats on the canals. And the truth of the matter is that the canal system is part of the strategic stormwater drainage system, which I think the city, patted itself on the back a year or so ago for getting awards for their, swale maintenance, which is a complete joke.
3 years behind schedule.
Yeah,
the biggest complaint I get, and with the additional 15 or 16 new hires that these folks want in this budget, we don't have one swale crew.
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot of senior management people.
And Steve, what
unbelievable.
You've been around Palm Coast and seen the swale system. What do you think of the maintenance that we have? Not against the people that we have doing, because we just don't have enough people doing it.
Not a fan of the huge puddles in my front yard.
So you have a splash pad in your front yard? Is that what you said?
Absolutely, yeah. You don't have to spend money on it when every front yard has one. So.
Yeah, that's right. Plus, we live, next to the ocean, so splash pad might not be necessary there. But the swale thing, we used to have a number of swale teams, and they reduced it down under the last administration to 1.
Yeah. Well, if money's such an issue, why don't we invite some more businesses here to create revenue?
Yeah, we're not very good at that, are we?
No. The phone apparently only works one way, and that's not out. We have to take calls in, and then we don't return them.
We made no effort to get this new Costco's, which is going up by St. Augustine.
Right.
No effort whatsoever.
Now, it's funny because I mentioned Costco at one of the forums for the mayoral campaign, and I mentioned that Costco pays $15 an hour to their cashiers. I, however, was corrected by Pierre Flagler Lies. I was wrong. It's $16 an hour.
There you go. That's right out of the gate.
Yeah,
if you're there,
that's what you start at.
2 or 3 years, you're up to $50,000 as a cashier.
So St. Augustine, negotiated, and they got them.
Yeah, the sales tax they're going to collect up there from Costco's, it's going to be enormous.
This will be unbelievable.
All the restaurants around here would benefit from a Costco too, getting their meat cheaper, and that's a big loss.
Oh, everybody
for our county.
would be. You're right. Everybody would benefit, but we didn't do it.
So you're pro business.
Definitely. I have a business here in town. I do mortgages, so finances is kind of a thing. You can't pay for something with thin air. You have to have money.
Well, that would be great to have you on the city council, because you would actually understand more than most of the others what the whole financial program is about when you're running through the budget.
Yeah, absolutely. You increase some business taxes, and that's less on the people. And that's what you truly want.
Exactly. What do you think? Now, you mentioned earlier about the millage rate, keeping it flat or rolling it back. Well, keeping it flat, if the property values increase, then the taxes go up, even with a flat millage rate. Would you be in favor of flat or rolling it back?
Keeping it flat, or rolling it back. Either one of them is beneficial to what we have right now. Changing it and going forward, making it more is not. Here's the thing, when property values increase, if you increase property value, all you're doing is inflating this dollar. Your dollar is going to go, your dollar is going to be huge, but it's not going to be worth anything. So you have this house that you're paying, $400,000 for. We're worried about these millage rate and taxes, but you have a house that you're going to pay $400,000 for, and we're paying these people $15 and $16 an hour to be cashiers, which is great, good on them. But your gallon of milk just increased to $4.50, and now your house is $400,000. It's still, you're in the same boat as making $750, and the prices being where they were when President Trump was in office.
Right.
So let's increase taxes and make it even more expensive. So you want to shred it thin?
Yeah, and that's the prevailing thought of a few of the city councilmen right now.
They are tax and spend liberals.
Regardless of the letter in front of their name.
Yeah, regardless of the letter in front of their
name. What happened to the JFK liberals?
Those folks aren't here anymore. But we have, you'll discover if you get elected, you'll be dealing with some tax and spend liberals.
You said win wrong.
Huh?
You said win wrong.
Yeah.
When I get elected.
Yes, when you get elected, absolutely. Right. And you're going to discover that there's no need for tax increases. There's so much wasteful spending at City Hall. So much wasteful spending, and so many places we can make cuts. We have a large senior population, and they are on fixed incomes.
Right.
And I can tell you, while City Hall wants to give their employees a 7% pay increase this year, 3% cost of living, and then a 4% performance bonus, I don't know anybody on fixed incomes that are getting that type of money whatsoever. Their bills just keep going up and up and up, and their taxes keep going up, and they get no relief. And we, again, have a large senior population, and we need to start thinking about them.
Absolutely. It'd be nice if we can shift some of that code enforcement money, since all these fines they're putting out. Let's shift some of that money over.
Well, that's a whole nother conversation, right?
Code enforcement. That's another whole program.
But any other issues that stand out for you before we wrap this up?
No, but I would like to see the community get more involved, bring more of the community to the city council meetings and help us fight for what's right. I've been to a few of them, and I've sat back quietly, and I've done it for long enough. Now I'm ready to step up and help out where I can.
That's fantastic.
And I think everybody in our community should be a part of it. So hopefully I'll see y'all at the meeting.
It's difficult to get people to step up. That's and because when you look at the process and the money, you're to be commended for stepping up.
Well, the problem is, they're so busy working trying to pay these high-priced taxes, they can't get a break to go spend a few minutes at a city council meeting.
Well, they also put the city council meetings at 9 a.m.
Yeah, I'm in favor of changing those. I've been on record. I want us to change those, make them all in the evening.
Of course.
Not in the morning, so people who work can show up at 6 p.m. for a council meeting.
Absolutely.
Well, Stephen, thank you for joining us. I hope you I hope you have a thick skin, because you're going to find that these people are going to be attacking you like they attack me left and right every single day. You just got to have a thick skin, and you just got to let it bounce off. Occasionally, I bite back, though, so I don't know what you're going to do, but I definitely bite back. I understand you're going to be we have a Trump event coming up, and you're going to be there. Mike, tell us about this event quickly.
Well, we're going to commemorate 9/11 Saturday. We're having a ceremony, and we will have some remarks on 9/11. And because I want everybody to remember that, this is the 20th anniversary of 9/11.
20th anniversary. I remember sitting in my 6th grade class.
So, folks, you'll be able to meet Stephen there at this event. You'll be able to talk to him. He's going to speak for a few minutes. So go on. Walk up to him, say hello,
and bring your checkbook
and
for
bring
him.
your checkbook, because
please do,
because campaigns cost a lot of money. That's all the time we have left for today. This is Ed Danko with Mike and Alan, wishing you a good week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Future of Flagler is sponsored by the Flagler Trump Club. Our meetings are every third Monday, starting at 6:30 p.m. at the Palm Coast VFW. Visit our website, flaglerfortrump.com. That's Flagler, 4, Trump.com to learn more. Let's make America great again.